Hello lads and lassies, this is Gurren Lagann. It's been 2 weeks since the finale has been dropped on YouTube. It's been 1 week since the first movie has been dropped on YouTube. Now, here we are, the end, again. Gurren Lagann Movie 2? I am hyped. I don't know what they're gonna do, because, okay, so last movie, for any of you lads that haven't seen the Gurren Lagann movies and are like, I think I want to see a reaction to this, or maybe you just like, it's been a while, you forgot. Last movie, we left off like right before the beginning of episode 15, I think. Like, they changed all the episodes. Drop my headphones. They changed all the episodes, so like instead of them defeating all the Spiral Generals one by one, they like all the Spiral King's General kind of made a game out of it. They went to fight at the same time, and of course Simone, the Giga Chad he used his Giga Drill, drilled through all of them except for Viral. Viral survived, of course, because we all know what's in store for him. And then so like all the generals are dead now. Then we hit the Nia and Simone. They're still kids. They're like in Lagan's little head. They're just looking at each other. And it's like, oh, yes! And then the credits start rolling, and then like, you get to the end of the credits. And there he is, Lord Genome, in his gigantic castle thing, gunmen, that's ridiculously huge. I don't know how they're going to start this movie off. And then, I don't know if they're going to have time to end it. Because not only do we have to deal with Lord Genome, we also have to deal with the anti-spirals. Are we going to skip over Simone and Rossiu? Are we going to skip over that political stuff? Because that was some of the most interesting stuff and some of the best stuff that happened in the series, like the character work in there. Like, what are we skipping? What are we montaging? What are we cutting all together? What are we changing? Like, oh, the first movie, the first like hour and 20 minutes, I was kind of like, oh, okay, this is kind of like just a recap of the series. It's like an OVA for an anime. When an anime is getting a season 2 after like so long, you do an OVA and it's basically the highlights of the first season or like whenever they left off. It felt like that, and then it just builds up to like the hour and a half mark, and it just everything changed. Throw out everything because it's going to change. And now, we could go the route of them taking down the Spiral King, the 7 year. Like, they take down the Spiral King, they play they play the opening credits, 7 years pass, and then we go into season 2. We go into like the last half of the plot. But I don't know. Or we could just like not take out the Spiral King. 7 years have passed between the movies, the Spiral King's still alive, and that way they don't have to play around with Lord Genome's consciousness. It could actually be Lord Genome instead of like the robotic consciousness AI that they created. And maybe that's a possibility. That's a very real possibility. But there's only one way to find out. As last week, it was a surprise that I left for you guys. Like, oh, I'm going to give you the full length. I said that at the end. Well, now that you guys know the surprise, it's not really a surprise anymore. So yes, there is a full length to this, but it is only my reaction. It's just like 2 hours of me sitting down watching it. There is no reference footage. So if you have the movies yourself, or you know how to like find the movies yourself, you just hit play when I say 3, 2, 1, go. And then we're gonna be buddies. We're gonna be buddies. We're gonna watch it together, and then you'll see like the full 2 hours. If you don't have the time to do that, or you don't have the movies yourself, there is going to be. I'm gonna try and keep these on YouTube. I'm gonna try to keep the reactions. I don't know if it'll work. It's an uphill battle against copyright. But I will try my best to keep the reactions on YouTube. But if not, then above the full length link, there's going to be a couple links to check out the actual reaction, the highlights, like 20, 15 minutes maybe. We'll see how long, because this is a 2-hour movie. So let's just get into this, lads, because I need it. It's bittersweet, because I love the world of Gurren Lagann. I love what they've done with it. But then again, I don't want it to end. This is going to be the second time it's ended for me. man, last movie was like the last 30 minutes of the first movie were great. If you just like, if you've heard the movies or just highlights of Gurren Lagann, just watch the first movie because that's so good. But I mean, can I recommend you this movie? Let's check that out right now, lads. What a movie! I know there's an after credit scene. I'm not fooled. I won't be fooled. Oh man, I'm so glad you lads like just say like watch the movies, watch the movies, watch the movies, watch the movies. It's like every other overreaction I feel like I've seen. Like, are you gonna check out the movies? I don't know. I've seen them all. Like I saw all those comments. And you guys convinced me. Man. Did these movies get a theatrical release? These movies get a theatrical release. The people in Japan get to go see this in theaters. That final fight, be epic in surround sound, big old screen. I'll just vibe to the music now. I do not know how I'm going to cut that down. I don't even know how long that highlight can. The highlight might not even be, even if there's a chance like a 10-minute version of the highlight might be on YouTube. I don't even think I can make a 10-minute version of the highlight. The ending alone deserves its own highlight segment because it's. I see why you lads like watch the movie. I took some notes, but oh my! I stopped taking notes at the end there. Or like, there's a solid chunk of time when they were fighting. I just stopped taking notes. Like I should have been taking notes, but it's too epic if you can believe it or not. It's too epic. Like, I guess I'll start with the fight because that's what's on my mind. So when the fight in the show, if I'm remembering correctly, I didn't talk too much about it. It's just, look. Like, so the fight in the show is basically like the mirror matchup. It was the Anti-Spiral versus the Galaxy Gurren Lagann, and it was good. It was really good. But then like that episode, it had Nia's death, Simone and Nia getting married, the after credit scene. Like it had so much that like while the fight was epic, is like the story that they finished it was beautiful. But this, like the movies, I'll say it again. It's like it feels more like a highlight reel, in the sense of like, yeah, I know like the events are gonna happen, and they're not as emotionally. I'm not as emotionally invested in these events because I'm watching like the movie. I'm trying to like separate it, like what I know from the show, and like just like trying to see like what these movies are giving. So I'm not as emotionally invested. Like Keaton's death, epic, not as sad because Keaton was not as much of a character in the movie as he was in the show. That's like just my opinion. Same with even Kamina. He was the main character in the first movie, but like we got the time we got with him was so much less than what we had in the show. It's like it wasn't as emotionally impacting. But like with that, it's just like we have the ending, we have the story ending in the show, and this I love the after credit. I'll get to the after credit scene in a little bit because they added some stuff that wasn't in the show. But like the fight when they just turned into a gigantic man with the flowing cape just made out of energy. Like that was insane, and I love like they did the same shot just like with more. Like they did like the spiral tank drilling, and then they did the juggernaut, or like they did the moon gunman drilling, then the juggernaut drilling, then Gurren Lagann drilling, then Lagann drilling, and then it wasn't just Lagann anymore. No. Simone, the Giga Chad he is, jumped out of Lagan, created his own drill, punched straight through the anti-spiral, just like Lord Genome, and it was just like chef's kisses all around. I didn't see it coming. Do I still have the file of the movie open? I'm gonna open it again. I just want to skim through, see if I like missed anything, or like not missed anything. See if like I want to add to anything. Oh my, so much happened. I really love, like in the fight, during the fight, the anti-spirals told them, they told like our crew, like, oh, if you kill us, then Nia's gonna die too, because it was the sacrifice. And like that's how he's like, I stalled you, but he thought he thought that was it. Nah. Nia is on board with this. She's okay to sacrifice her life because she knows what humanity is capable of. Not like the evil that the anti-spirals fear, but she knows like the good and the love that they can create, and she's fine with that. And Simone, while he did hesitate at first, he was shocked. That's what we didn't get that in the show. Like he accepted. It's like he already knew in the show, which it's fine. But like in this, he was shocked. He had to accept it, and then he beat the crap out of the anti-spirals. And but yeah, that was so good. And then what got me by surprise, like, okay, like the fight more or less is going out the same way, like other than a few things like, oh, like Nia is going to die if you defeat me, so you can't defeat me because you're weak and you're not going to do that. And then like that was different. And then he just like pummeled them. He completely pummeled them brutally. And then he just tore Simone out. And it's like little Lagan getting ready to drill, and then Nia makes a gunman of her own out of pure spiral power, energy, whatever the heck. I guess it can't be spiral power because Vero made his own, so I guess like just the imagination, because they're in like this pod universe, like whatever they imagine they can create, just whatever the heck they did, Nia made her own gunman, fought the anti-spiral in his home turf, though she didn't last very long. But she inspired everyone else. If Nia is fighting to save us, and she knows full well that she's gonna die, then we have to fight for her. And it's just like everyone made their own. Well, not everyone. Some of them had combined gunmen, but like Yoko had her own gunman. It was like the tank, but I think it changed in the group shot. I remember seeing a gunman just holding a sniper and didn't have a tank body with it. Oh shit. Yeah, 5618. I don't know if I'll put an image up. If I remember to put the image up, I'll try. Yeah, there's this like tank. It has red hair. It has to be Yoko. But yeah, like everyone has their own gunman. Vero's gunman with like 20 arms. It's just so epic. The twins gunman. We got Godzilla over here. Then Laron and everyone else that didn't make their own gunman. They're just in the. They're in the ship. He's like, let's do this, guys. Let's do what we do. What? Combine. Man, Simone's face looking at Nia, like, yeah, I know, I know what we have to do, and we have to. This group shot. It's like, I know what we have to do. I don't want to do it, but like, this is how we'll do it. This is the way. I don't want to lose you, but this is the only way to save humanity. And oh, this group shot right here. And then the volcano just like behind Kamina. And then Lagan's final form is like got like the spikes and the crown on it. It's just so good. Like, oh my god. I thought they were creating a gigantic Kamina. Like, because I saw the cape first, I was like, oh my god, they're making a gigantic Kamina. But it's just like, it's just a gigantic representation of what humanity is. And then we see glowing energy, full cowl Simone right here, the biggest Chad out there. Eat this. If this ever got dubbed, I will totally just. If you guys wanted me to, I will react to it, but I'd totally just rewatch it because Yuri Lowenhal's voice. I love, like in the beginning we had little Simone doing his charge ups. Was it little Simone? Yeah, it was little Simone doing his charge up scream to like break through Lazengon's power, like to break through Lazengon's defenses. But like I don't know, it's just like Yuri Lowenthal. He can do a charge up scream. So I would love to hear him just say what they have to say when they smash drills, and it just like when the two full cow just pure energy just smash drills, and like the screen went black. It just zooms out. You see the infinity sign, and then it zooms back in. Final fight was epic. Like, if they had this in the show, I mean, like, there's no way they could have. Like, the final fight would have had to have been its own episode, and then they would have to have an epilogue episode, because this final fight was 30 minutes long. So good. It was like, yeah, just the brutality of Simone and the Anti-Spiral slugging it out. Like, after all of this, we've had gunmen, we have mechas, we have like galaxy entity, godlike machines, and it all comes down to like it comes down to the will of one man fighting another. I guess I'll say man for like the Anti-Spiral. Like, it's a humanoid form. It has this like so it comes down like after all this epicness, like this gigantic robot fighting. It comes down to the will of one man slugging it out with another, and it's just Simone. He had the will to fight on. He had the will to live. He had the will to continue living even without Nia. It's a great ending fight. That's absolutely beautiful. I'm sitting here, it was like half an hour before the fight ends, like, oh, I wonder what they're gonna change. Like, I don't think they could change much. The ending fight in the anime was pretty good. They don't really. There's nothing they can add. Like the studios. Hold my galaxy beard. Or beer. Because yeah, I underestimated that. I pulled an Anti-Spiral, I underestimated them, and absolutely blown away. Okay, it's just like a little choreography thing. I'm not gonna touch on this much. I'm sorry, I'm just like through this fight. But I love I love good choreography. I mean, like I feel like a lot of people do. Like, come on, I'm not like an expert or anything. It's just it's like, you know, you can spot when it's good, you can spot when it's bad, or like you can have like you're like, oh, I wasn't a fan of this. I love like when the Anti-Spiral like created tentacles out of his fingers and like shot at Simone. He kind of like moved his body to dodge him, but they still clipped him, and he just like grabbed them, yanked the Anti-Spiral, just punched it. This is such a great move. I love that little touch. Like, he could have just dodged them and then gone in, but no, he just dodged them, yanked him. My drill is going to be the drill that pierces the heaven. Man, I'm going to remember that. I need to buy these. I need to find like where to buy these and just put them in the collection over there. Like, if I move my chair this way, you can. Oh, yeah, you can see the beginnings of my anime collection. It's not much. Leave down in the comments. I mean, I have a lot of stuff. Like, you can see my shelf of Marvel Legends over there. There's more above me. Like, I have a bunch of Marvel Legends. I love collecting stuff. I don't have a lot of money. This is like years and years of collecting. And like, if you look at Shardimus Prime, he's one of my favorite Marvel Legends reviewers out there. If you look at his collection, I've got nothing on him, and I wish one day that I can have a collection like that. But I don't have a lot of money, so like this is years and years and years of collecting. But like, you know, holiday sales, just getting them for Christmas. So I have like my Marvel Legends collection. I got like a little bit, like the beginnings of an anime collection. I'm trying to get more, but anime's expensive, man. But yeah, if you guys ever want to see like a collection video or something like that, I mean, like I could make a collection video for my animes and stuff like that. Let me know. Like, if you see something in my room, just like, oh, if you want to see like a shirt collection video, I don't know, that'd be funny. That'd be a fun video to do. But like, yeah, I mean, I gotta get this. Like, these two, I gotta get the series, and I gotta get these two movies. Like, I gotta get the Gurren Lagann collection. I need to get a Gurren Lagann figure. Oh, so good. So now, I don't know where to begin. Do I go backwards? I started about the final fight for so long. It was just so good. It's just beautiful. Like this gigantic human. I really thought it was gonna be Kamina, like just a gigantic energy spiral from Kamina. The ending song that they played over the credits. I love like like EDs and OPs. Those are my bread and butter when they're done. Like I mean, the majority of them are not really good. Those are my bread and butter. But this is really good too. This is going into the collection. This is going into the MP3 collection. Yep. I mean, might as well start at the beginning. So, we started off in the middle of the Battle of Teplin with Simone fighting the Lord Genome, and we skipped so much, and then we like had a flashback. It was all in black and white, which was really cool. And like people that are fans of the show are like, okay, we've seen this. This is the second movie. We're gonna get to the second part of the show. So like, how long was this? It was like what, 10 minutes maybe. Let's see. No, not all of it was black and white. Oh wait, who got the? Oh, was it Viral? Did Viral get the vision of Simone with his cape? I think it was. That was. Oh, every time he like walks down that runway, he's wearing his cape. Just chills, man. Let's see how. Okay, so like, it wasn't that long. It was like 7. Okay, so the first 7 minutes was like dedicated to the ending of like part 1 of the first season, and I can't remember. Not much was changed. It was just like all like hyper ramped. I mean, you know, it's like 2 episodes in 7 minutes, but I don't remember much. Like not that I don't remember anything significantly different other than like oh yeah, okay, cut this, put these events over here. But yeah, I mean, I just love like Lord Genome, so bulky. Like he's got so much spiral energy. It's like because he's an ex-spiral warrior. He's basically like he's Simone in his prime. If Simone was Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and like he could just fight a small gunman. He could just like he tore Lagan apart. Yeah, Lagan. He tore Lagan apart, and yeah, that's really cool. I probably talked about this in my analysis. If you haven't seen, if this is like the first video, I've reacted to every episode of Gurren Lagann plus the first movie. So maybe if you want more, if you want more Gurren Lagann content, you can go check those out. There was a playlist at the beginning of this video that's like, oh, check this out. But yeah, Lord Genome, he went out like a man. Well, now that I know like his story, I respect him so much. And then the building of Communist City, we didn't get to see that in the original show. It was more like fast forward 7 years, or like yeah, it was flash forward 7 years. In episode 17, I think. Yes, episode 17. And this we got to see it being built. Like we see like some of the gunmen carrying like crates and boxes. Like, oh yeah, let's get ready. We're gonna build this. We see Rossio studying how to make a government. I'm just rewatching the scene as I'm talking. I guess this is Simone getting sworn in as president. I love that the guys, like the guys, like of Team Gurren, they're just laughing at each other. Like, look at how ridiculous you're dressed. You're like, you're actually dressed proper, and so that's a great touch. And we see the gunmen getting created. Like, they see the gunmen turning into cars. Oh, the cars aren't even. They don't have wheels. They're moving. Okay. And then, of course, I've gotten so many comments about this. You guys have been saying like, oh, Simone made the drill, or Simone made the drill. Simone made the statue of Kamen. I've been seeing so many comments of this. I didn't even think we would get to see this in the movie because seeing him do it, because like I've been like you guys have told me, I thought that it was like this thing that this creators said, oh yeah, Kamina totally made that drill, like, or he totally made that statue. Of course, like who would? Kamina, Simone totally made that statue. Who else would? I thought that was like the creators being tongue in cheek, but the fact that they show it in this movie is just adds so much more. We get to see the wedding, the after party. Wait, does Ron have the flowers? Like, is LeRon getting married next? I think he does. I'm just, yeah, he's holding the flowers away from the sister. Oh, Keaton's crying. I guess LeRon got the flowers. Keaton's crying because he didn't. Yoko's right there. Freaking Daika's got like a woman like on his belly. This is such a great after party. I love that we get to see like all these events happening to pass like showing us that we have past time. Viral was severely hurt with these movies because he was a freedom fighter. Unless I missed it, they never said like, oh, he was fighting for people, because he's not even like being transported with people. In the shot we see him getting put into jail, he's being transported with Beastmen. So he was severely hurt in that sense of like his motivations changing in the past 7 years. Like, of course, like I know, but anyone who's like not watching the movies, they're like, oh, cool, they caught Bureau, I guess. Then Nia's letters. That's another way of like showing like the same events that we've seen in like, oh, like we're gonna probably have a whole bunch of Gurren Lagann fans watching this, so they'll know what's happening. So let's not bore them with old stuff that they've seen, because we have like, because we'll have new people also watching this. Like, these need to stand alone. So let's not bore the old fans by showing them like the same thing that they've had. Let's make a cohesive story. Let's tell the same story, but through a different perspective. And like that's Nia's like the letters that Nia's writing. It's like her perspective after she goes to talk to Simone in the beginning of episode 17, which is so good. Oh, there goes Max. It's just like, oh, and Angel's like, what happened to my buddy? But yeah, Nia's letters were really good, and they kept that until the end. I really do like Yoko stuff, because like I was wondering if they were gonna keep Yoko being a teacher and all that, because like to save time. But I really like that instead of like, oh, what's Yoko doing? Because like, you know, like fans of the show, they know what Yoko's doing. People that haven't watched Gurren Lagann or don't know where this character is going, they get to see like, oh, this is Yoko's happiness. This is like, or this is what she's doing because she's not into government and stuff. And I really like it. We got to see like, instead of like being put into one section, because that would have like killed the pacing. We got to see like peppered out, like real time, like Yoko's reactions to stuff that's happening like real time in their universe. And that was a really cool way to like just show us where Yoko is, what she's doing. Man, those people were awesome. I mean, like, this movie did so much right. Like, I enjoyed this significantly more than I enjoyed the first movie. Like, don't get me wrong, the first movie was great, but this movie changed a lot more stuff because it was adapting. I guess it was adapting more. It was adapting some more stuff, but like the story they were adapting was a lot easier to tell, I guess. So the people out for Simone's blood, maybe it was just like the dub thing. Like maybe it was a dub thing, but like feeling this, Nia called out Simone a lot more. She's like, oh, it's Simone's fault that we're gonna throw down the moon. It's Simone who attacked. It's Simone who defeated the Spiral King. So the people angry at him makes a lot more sense, and thus like also like we don't get to see Simone fighting for the people a lot in this movie. Like in the show, we got to see much more of that happening. We got to see much more of Simone being in the government. It's like, oh man, these people, 7 years of Simone like running their government, these people turn real quick. Like they have no faith in him at all. This one, it was like we didn't get to see a lot of Simone doing anything, so it was a little more believable, the people turning on him that quickly. And like we got to see more of the prison stuff. In the show, it wasn't that brutal, but they were brutal. They didn't really do much in the prison, but they added Simone getting beat, like him getting his lunch spilled all over him. The trial was real quick. They didn't even show Nia in the trial. They changed a lot, but to cut pacing and time. But this, I feel like this happened a lot better. Like the way that the first movie handled it, it was like, wow, you cut a lot and you fast forwarded it through a lot. But this one, I feel like what they cut, what they fast forwarded through, it made a lot of sense. You didn't lose much. And oh man, before I get going, the proposal, man. I love slice of life anime. I love romance anime. Like I don't like live action romance. I think it's some like I used to watch the CW shows a lot, like Arrow, Flash, what Legends and all that stuff. I dropped all of it because I was like, oh, cool, anime. You know, like, oh, I guess I'll watch anime. And it completely ruined my taste because now I have such a high bar. So, like, all like that romance, that drama in the CW, a lot of live action stuff. Like, a lot of live action is like, oh, okay, add some romance. It'll be some good drama. Let's not flesh out, like, we have 24 episodes. Let's not flesh out the romance too much because who cares about that? But it's going to be, like, really important to the drama. But there's just something about anime. I can watch a full 24 episodes of these two kids just finding love for each other, and it's not boring, and it's just so well written. So man, I understand why they had to cut we did it, or I did it, bro. Like when Nia calls in and she's like, yeah, I accept the proposal, and Simone just like, yeah, like he's with Kawa's statue. I understand why they cut it, but that's such a great scene. It's one of the best scenes in Gurren Lagann. Like, yeah, it's just a simple scene, but like that's my trash taste. But I get that they had to cut that to make it more streamlined. And then Nia talking about like, oh, I wanna like create a world with flowers in it, or I want flowers in the world. It just makes the ending shot of her grave and it's just covered in flowers. Like it's next to Kamina's. Actually, what does Kamina's grave look like? I think it's just normal, right? Let's see. I'm just trying to. Yeah. Okay. So Kamina's grave is like on on the battlefield, and then right next to it is Nia's grave. The two most important people in Simone's life, and you put them right next to each other. And it's like Nia's grave is covered in flowers, and like when you're watching the show. Like, ah, yes, that's what definitely what Kamina would have wanted. If Kamina got buried and he was like surrounded by flowers, he would like resurrect from the dead to make his gravesite look cool. But Nia's like right next to him, like all covered in flowers. It's like it makes it so much more heartbreaking because that's what she wanted. That was her dream. I was surprised with like the after credit. Like, I'm just going all over the place now. I'm surprised with the after credit scene. Like the epilogue was a lot shorter in this. Like, well, they added Simone going about fixing people's villages and all that. Like they added that. Like they added like, oh, so flowers like to honor Nia. Like, such a great touch. But they cut Rossiu, they cut Viral, they cut a lot of Gimme and Dari. They cut Yoko. Like, they have time. It's a movie. They have time. Maybe. I don't know. Anime movies usually go around for an hour and a half, so this is already pushing it. So they didn't have time. But yeah. So they had more stuff in the prison. Let's see what else. I have so many more notes. This is the biggest Gurren Lagann discussion yet. It's just so good. New energy. Oh, okay. That didn't really go anywhere. So when Simone and Viral were talking in the prison, Simone like made this thing. Like he made like a drill in his hands. It was like he made a construct, like Green Lantern. But Simone doesn't even need a ring. My man's spiral spirit is so strong that he could just like drill right here. But I like that he's like, yeah, I can't do anything because it's in Rossio. Like he didn't give up hope. He's like, it's all in Rossio's hands now. Yeah, he believed in Rossio. That was really cool. Like, yeah, they didn't really go anywhere with that. I guess that's just showing how powerful he is with the spiral energy stuff. But I thought like it'll go with something like, oh, he doesn't have a drill, so he's gonna literally create an energy drill. Or maybe that's just seed, because I don't remember that ever being in the show. So maybe that's just seeding like, oh look, we can make pure, like it's not just like we can like influence our gunmen with our spiral power, but that we can create spiral energy that's tangible, and then that's like seeding for the big fight with the energy character, the energy human that we had. And going right off of that, Viral jumping in front of like Nia, like full on about to kill Simone. Then Viral jumping, and like he breaks his cage or he breaks his cell, jumps in front of him, and he's like, because Vero knows that he can take it because he's immortal, of course. So he like breaks his cell, jumps in front of Simone. He's like, no, Simone can't die yet. He knows Simone's the only thing that can save it. So, of all the things that they changed in the anime, that is one of the best ones that they had. Because like, even though he's thrown us to the aside, it makes more sense why Simone trusts Vero now, as like in the anime it is like cool, like yeah, we're bros now, right? Like yeah, the universe is ending. Let's give you a second chance. But in this, I'm also like overgeneralizing things. But in this, it's like Simone sees Vero literally like jump in front of him to save him. Like, it's like, oh, I really enjoyed that. Skipping ahead, they changed why they couldn't crush Nia. So like in the original, they couldn't crush Nia because she would have like if she mixed, since she was anti-spiral, if she mixed, if she got crushed and she got mixed with the moon base, then she would have blown it up. They would have been gone. They wouldn't have had a moon gunman. But I love that they changed it instead of like, oh no, we can't do it because things are gonna blow up, we'll lose our gunmen. They changed it because Simone's like, I know that this is part of the plan. If I kill Nia, I know you guys are just trying to make me lose hope. But he turned it on them. He's like, but I know Nia's in there. She hasn't given up hope. I've heard her screams for help. Alright, I should have heard them earlier, but I know that they were there. Oh, I love that they changed that. Again, I don't think that's a lot to change, so I don't think it's a dub sub thing. But I love that was... It's like, instead of creating a conflict out of like, oh no, it'll blow up, it was like it created a conflict out of the characters. Like Simone hesitated, but he like turned that hesitation into a weapon because of his love for Nia, and he knows the love Nia has for him. He didn't punch Rossio. Again, skip for. So we did get the suicide stuff, but it like a much smaller context instead of like the 20-minute episode. It was like a 5-minute segment. But I was saying like earlier or within the reaction, I love that scene. I love that episode in general. I mean, someone in the comments said that people don't talk about that episode much because I understand why. It comes off of a hype ending and then it goes into a hype beginning of the end. So it's kind of like in the middle of like, oh my god, so much is happening. But I love Rossio and Simone. Like I love Simone talking about his suicide. Like Simone's there for him. He tells Rossio the same thing that Kamina told him, but in this it was much more calm. It wasn't as like epic, which you can't. In the show, like that was the epic part of the episode. Yes, everything was the epic part of the movie. So like instead of like making it more epic, this bombastic thing of this beautiful animation of Simone flying out of Gurren Lagann, punching Rossio in the face, and it's like one of the most beautiful punches you'll ever see. It was him going, man, it's not your fault. Like, chill. And then one of the K's, can't remember which one it is, sorry. She comes in, slaps him, and then Simone acknowledges like, hey, you got someone who will punch you, or you got someone that'll hit you. That's good to have. That's a really good thing to have, because that way, like, this person's going to keep you in check. They're going to tell you if you're going too far. They're going to tell you if you're not going far enough. You can rely on this person. I really love that. I only wish we could have gotten somehow. It would have been forced, but if like you picked her up or something. I don't know. Like, I don't know what they could have done. But the line that Rossio had when let me look back in my notes. I probably remember if I saw her name. It's Keon. Like, it's one of the best lines in this. Like, I'm saying this a lot of this episode. I'm just going back through my highlights of the show. But it's one of the best lines when she's sitting on him because like they don't have 2 seats in the cockpit of Gurren. She's sitting on him. She asked if she's too heavy, and my man says yes. Which, first off, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do that. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a girlfriend. I haven't had one. But I'm fairly certain you're not supposed to tell a girl that they're heavy. But she's like, oh, okay. Like, she got really embarrassed. She's like, okay, I'll get off then. I'll just stand or sit on the floor. And he goes, no. I need to know. I want to feel the weight of a human life, even if it's just one. Because, you know, Rossi was gambling the entire human race, like billions, a billion or hundreds of thousands of lives he had signed away just before that. And now he's with Keon, and he knows the weight of one. I love that. That's a great quote. There's no way they could have fit in the movie because the context doesn't make sense. But if they fit that in, made the movie even better. The movie's already great. It's already perfect. But it would have made it more perfect. I feel like the dialogue in this movie is so much better too. Again, it could be a dub sub thing. Like, they can't fit all of this in like in the dub because lip flaps aren't enough. But there's like a lot of scenes in my reaction, like, the dialogue sounds amazing. Like, I want to hear you really all say this. But yeah, I mean, I can't really think of one off the top of my head. It's probably going to sprinkled throughout the reaction of me saying that. Oh, okay, yeah. So in the show, Simone, when he like ran out of spiral energy, when he was like pushing himself too far in the water, like in the space water, like the arm broke, and he was just like, oh, I'm so tired. Like, I need to take a break. Which, you know, for that, maybe it's like a rating thing. Like, they can show it. But in this, it's like his arm like split open. He's bleeding through the mouth. He was bleeding through his arm. He's like, keep going. And they're like, Simone, stop, choppa mate. Like, give yourself some time to rest. And then it just made Vero like so much more sad. Like, I'm sorry, Simone. If only I had spiral power, I would have I'd be helping you. But yeah, it's just so much more, I don't know, grittier, but in a good way. It's not like oh, he trying to be gritty, he edgy. It was like, I feel the stakes. I feel the stakes here. Like, oh, it's bad. So yeah, I like that. And then I'm trying. What the heck did I write here? I say Keton. Oh, Keton Death. I thought this said Keton Decoy. I can't even read my own handwriting. I feel bad for my teachers. I think everything's online now. But yeah, the Keton, not his death in general, because like I think did I say anything actually? Did I say here? Well, yeah. Keton's death in the show, more emotional. Keton's death here, more epic. But like, it was just a little bit. It was like sprinkled a little bit here, but Keton's. They showed the reaction of the sisters, the black sibling. They showed the reaction of them, like, Keton's dead. Like, we didn't get that in the show. They kind of like went over that because 24-minute episode, pacing, probably couldn't fit it in. But they added that in the movie. You just see all three of them crying. I think is it Dayaka giving them the news? Yeah, it sucked. It made the moment much more real. And while I'm looking for this scene, everyone but Keaton survived. Everyone but Keaton. Like the twins survived, that samurai guy survived, the other guy, like the smoker guy survived. Oh, it's his funeral. Yeah, well, okay, I don't know if Dayaka is breaking the news, but like Keon, Kia, and the other one, there's too many K's. Keon, Kia, and Keon, and Kia. God, it's not only like too many K's, it's like they're all the same name. But yeah, I love that Dayaka's just here for them. Because he's probably the one that knows them the best out of the Keaton. But yeah, I love that Nia gave the diary to Yoko, because Simon already knows everything about her. He already knows the important stuff, so Yoko was the best one to give it to. I like that. I like that was their friendship. Their friendship was a little more, well, like, their friendship of the aftermath of the part 1 of Gurren Lagann was a little more explored in this. And yeah, a lot more. It was a much more happier ending in the sense that more characters survived, but it was a lot more devastating because they showed the aftermath of Keaton's death. Woo! I think that's it. Yeah. Well then, lads and lassies, that was Gurren Lagann. The journey. Surprising you right now. Journey's not over yet. I still need to do my comment responses. I don't know if I'm going to do a comment response for the end of the series, or if I'm going to wait till these 2 movies reactions are out, and then I'll give you guys a little bit of time to put your comments on all that. But what did I miss? What do you want me to talk about? What were your opinions of the show? So just tell me, what do you want me to talk about in like this comment response, like this final, like this review analysis, like this goodbye to Gurren Lagann. And I do plan on one day, hopefully, like I do want to get into video essays on this channel, so I do plan on making a video essay eventually in Gurren Lagann. When that will be, I don't know. But yeah, stay tuned next week for like one final, for sure, Gurren Lagann thing, which will be like your guys' comments, like everything that you thought. You don't even have to ask me a question. You can like literally say like what you thought of the series, or like how this series impacted you, or like all that stuff, and I'll just read your comment. It doesn't even have to be a question, to be honest. Like you don't have to say like, oh, like what did you think of this, or like, dude, this was so great. You can literally say like, oh man, I love this show because, and all that. Like it'll be a love for Gurren Lagann video, and that'll be out either next week or within the next 2 weeks, so I can give you guys some time to get all your comments in. But if you made it this far, it's 40 minutes, this discussion. I don't know, I don't remember how long the intro was. But yeah, if you made it this far, definitely consider subscribing, because it's a lot more of this content. If you want more of my anime content, like just me doing these kind of reviews and reactions, I'm doing Attack on Titan right now. As season 4 is dropping live, I did The Promised Neverland, and I plan on doing that when it gets dubbed. I plan on doing season 2 when it gets dubbed, which should be in June, I think. So it's close. It's close. I've done Fooly Cooly, the first series. I was going to say season, but it's a series thing. I did that one off of recommendation, and it depends on it depends like how fast I can edit. But either next week you'll get the comment response and the new series I'm doing, which is, in case you've forgotten, I'm going to be starting Darling in the Franxx, which I've started it at this point, and I'm really, really liking it. I'm on episode 7 as of recording this one, because it's really bingeable. I was surprised at how bingeable it was. But yeah, gotta get more mecha in there. I gotta get my mecha fixed now. But yeah, I'm doing Darling in the Franxx, so if you like that show, or if you haven't seen it, I guess I just gave you some time, or if you haven't seen the show, I guess I just gave you some time to binge it so you can like watch my reactions to it, or if you like the show, that's what I'm doing now. Or that's what I'm doing next. So that's either gonna come out next week, or come out the week after that. Depends how fast I can edit and do all that stuff. Because I may be on episode 7, I've not edited a thing yet. And then I needed the comment response as well. So we'll see how that goes, but yeah, that was Gurren Lagann. This movie was so satisfying. That's all I can say. 10 out of 10. The last movie, I give like 8 out of 10. This one, 10 out of 10. Definitely need to buy the entire series. This movie, it added so... I'm so conflicted now, because I love Horacio's suicide scene in this. I love it in... Or, like, not his suicide scene, but I love, like, what they did with him in this. But I also love in the show what they did with that. But I'm taking what we know of Horacio in the show. Because, like, they kind of went... Like, they go over a lot of what Horacio... Like, his guilt. They go over, like, that really quickly in this. Well, in the show, it's, like, dragged out over an episode. Not dragged out, but it's, like, dropped throughout the episode. So... if you could put this movie into episode format, give it a little more time to breathe. But I really liked... I'm so glad that we had... It's like the Elseworld. It's like an alternate reality Gurren Lagann. Because I love Rossio punch, but I love Keon's Rossio slap. Those are both so good. It's this movie, I love it. So thank you all very much for recommending it to me. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Share this around with your friends because we are trying to grow out the channel. We're trying to expand. So if you have friends that like Gurren Lagann, or if you like know like a Discord server, you know, like share this around because we're trying to like expand the channel. If we hit 500 subscribers by the time our Avatar reactions finish, Anthony will watch The Legend of Korra with us. He will give it another shot because in Avatar, I've been getting comments like, Anthony's too harsh on Legend of Korra, he needs to rewatch it. Micaiah has never seen Avatar, he's never seen Legend of Korra, so Micaiah and I are definitely going to watch Legend of Korra. But if we hit 500 subscribers before the series ends on the channel, like before the finale of Avatar: The Last Airbender airs on the channel, then we will, or all of us will be watching it as a group, and then Anthony gets to give it another try, and then he gets to like tell why he doesn't like certain things with context to the show and the episode. But yeah, help us get to 500 before that. I think it's going to be in a couple months. Well, from now, maybe a couple months from when this episode airs, we shall see. Or when this movie reaction airs, but we shall see. And yeah, I've dragged out this outro. Sadly, I feel like I've dragged it out. That was not my intention. It's just, yeah. See you in the next one, lads.